Welcome to the Sykes University video series, presented by Sykes Company, PA.
They can come in a range of condition. We've had situations where clients have come in with their bookkeeper doing just writing checks through QuickBooks, no deposits, no bank reconciliations. We've gone from absolute train wrecks that we've had to rekey the whole thing to monthly engagements where the pharmacist just wants to change, doesn't feel like his current CPA has the base knowledge to help him more adequately. And, they can only be a month behind and everything is reconciled, everything is adjusted for that month. So, you get a whole spectrum when you start this project. If you currently have a QuickBooks file, you send me a copy of your file. I like to hijack the file for 24 hours and clean up what I can before I put it on Right Networks in the cloud. My desktop is a little bit faster than Right Networks, but usually in Right Networks you don't get too much degradation. It's just easier if I make a mistake while I'm cleaning it up to have it on my desktop and not in Right Networks. Once we get the file and the client's active and is ready to get involved in the situation, we normally go ahead and get them into Right Networks as quick as we can. And that way, Bill.com is already ready. They're ready to train on Bill.com instantly. If they've already gone to Paychecks, those records are ready to upload and import the transactions to the QuickBooks file. So it's instantaneous. It can be as much as 15 minutes, but like I said, I do like, when it's a train wreck, I do need some time by myself on the file to clean it up before I let the bookkeeper back in it. A lot of people are in Peachtree. Probably 10% of the clients we get come to us with a Peachtree or an alternative software package. We do use eTech. It's a conversion software company. But currently they're not doing Peachtree conversions, so we're having to do those manually by hand. But it's not bad. I mean, that part is relatively straightforward. It's black and white. You're reconciling everything you see on the balance sheet to a source document. Making sure that the beginning balance from the prior year tax return matches. Cleaning up anything that's stuck in the bank reconciliation in the receivable module or the payable module, tying in loan balances, updating depreciation schedules, just bringing integrity to that balance sheet on a daily and then at the end of the month on an end-of-month basis. And I like to encourage them to throw a box on the floor. I give them a list and I say throw everything in the box, send it to us UPS red with tracking, and I get one of our girls here to scan all the documents and I send them back the same day I get them. And that way I have access to the originals for a little while. But normally I only keep a client in my room. I try to get rid of them within 30 days. So, but during that 30-day process, the other team is beginning to migrate into the picture. The people that handle it on a daily basis, of course, we have two. We have a primary bookkeeper and a backup so that anytime anybody's out, there's always coverage so that pharmacist knows who he's going to be talking to as a primary and knows ahead of time if the primary is going to be out, who his backup is. Well, a lot of them will say, well, I can fax it to you. And I said, well, you don't belong babysitting a fax machine. You need to be behind the counter. Throw it in a box and send it to me, and I'll take care of it. If you're a large pharmacy and you've got cash reserves, a lot of times if you've got the ability to put in a defined benefit program, the money can be redirected to you as the owners. And if you've got a decision of whether to pay tax or pad your retirement account, most people would elect to pad their retirement account. You can buy equipment and avoid tax. 2013, you had your larger levels of Section 179. They've dropped back for 2014. Well, a lot of times during the cleanup process, you'll see bookkeepers' bad habits. And I like to type up a preliminary email while I'm in the cleanup process, because I can sit there and go helter skelter through their books, but they're not learning anything by me doing it and not telling them where they're making their mistakes. I do like to send them that email and, okay, what you're doing here needs to go in this account, or teach them better bookkeeping habits. And making sure that the bookkeeper is well organized and that she's on board with this big change. I really feel like it's an education process. If you're teaching them and not fussing at them, they seem to take it better. We have some that do everything, and we just step in at the end of the month and make sure there's integrity, and then make any adjustments that are necessary, and we just go to the end of the year like that. Then there are others where we do monthly financial statement preparation, where they get a formal monthly financial statement. And then there are others where we run full controllership, where we do everything. There's just a tech that scans those documents to us on a daily basis, and the owner gets his financial statement. Alan and I have to gauge that prior to the engagement letters being sent out, so we know what level of service that owner wants, what he can afford, and where he feels like we can best service him, so that we know what we're getting into in that engagement letter. And personality-wise, right after we get them engaged, we're already working our way through the staff here at Sykes Company, trying to figure out who the best personalities are to assign to that bookkeeper and that owner, because we really need to make sure we've got a good fit. A lot of pharmacies have third-party processors, the companies that handle their insurance adjudication. And once we start questioning where their cash flow is, they start looking at reports and going, oh my God, I didn't realize they owe me that much money, or they haven't processed that much. Inventory reports, making sure that the inventory reports on a perpetual system tie in. Most of these pharmacists have got computer systems in place that calculate inventory as it comes into the building and as it's sold. And some of them are even set up on reorder systems, and making sure that that inventory doesn't get out of control, or the inventory item doesn't calculate the number of pills in the bottle at $100 a bottle. It's $100 a pill, and the inventory system can get way off kilter that way. Depreciation schedules, fixed assets, that all ties into property tax listings, and making sure that that's cleaned up and it ties into the property tax listing if that state or that city requires it. It keeps the business property tax assessments down. Making sure accounts payable are monitored and maintained in a timely fashion so that vendors get payments on a timely basis, and making sure that notes payable, that a client knows that, you might not have had good cash in your bank account, but did you realize you paid off $500,000 in debt last year? And they can see that once they have those financial statements and that integrity is in them, that your debt went down $500,000 once you get that first clip of a comparative. And they like to see that. They like to know they're making progress. The current situation we're working with, we've got one that's just come on that's a large pharmacy situation. There are 11 in the group. And she was behind on her accounting. And now that we've gotten it up to date, she called me the other day. She says, I can't believe this. She says, I'm working on January. She's so excited. I enjoy what I do. I really do. I like giving that pharmacist that first phone call after we get the financial statements roughed in and literally talk them through the top to the bottom, um, and give them an education because that's what they're paying for. They're not paying for a bookkeeping service. They need to understand where their money is, where their money's gone, where their money's going, the ability to avoid taxation. And planning does that for you. Being able to look at your numbers and know where you are, you know whether you can buy, spend, put money away for retirement. It's just a multitude of situations that truly give you a benefit if you're at that level where you know your numbers have that integrity. Like I said, I love my job, and the education that pharmacists get is a true benefit. I really believe in the service that we offer and making sure that they're getting the most for their money.
If you have any questions or would like more information, please visit the Sykes website at sykes-cpa.com or contact All in Sykes directly via phone or email. Thank you for joining us.